Time to get you into the morning show. Have some guests, and here's Mark Jacobs.
Good morning. This morning, it's that week with the weather and all that. We have Betty Taylor in. She is with the Hutchinson Horticulture Club, gathering for gardeners. And with the way the weather has been lately, I bet there are people itching to get back out in their gardens.
Thank you. I think they are. And, of course, I know we're going to have some more cold weather. So I'm hoping, and I know Saturday is going to be a rather warm day, and people are probably going to want to be outside. But we need to encourage them to come inside and learn some stuff so that they do it the right way.
All right. Tell me a little bit about the Hutchinson Horticulture Club, because there may not be very many people who know about it.
Well, okay, the Horticulture Club was formed in 1984 by a master gardener who needed to do a project, and she thought we needed a garden-type club, but we wanted to call it the Horticulture Club because we weren't going to be just tea and cookies. And so we meet in the evening, the third Tuesday of the month, at 7 o'clock, and we have monthly programs. A couple times we eat just during the year and have good time talking to each other. But we just are a group of people. Some are master gardeners, some are not. They just want to learn more about gardening and horticulture practices.
What are some of the projects that the Horticulture Club has tackled in years past? I know you've had this garden gathering for gardeners
since 1990.
Yeah, yearly. But what are some of the other events that you guys have?
We have a beautification project, which I'll let James talk about because he's chair of that committee.
The beautification project, we have about a 50-foot long flower bed at the entrance to Cary Park, and that has close to 500 annuals in it. And club members start the plants. We plant the plants, we water it all through the summer, and then we take it out in the fall. So that's our big thing for the community. And then we have a plant sale. That's the way we fund the Gathering for Gardeners.
So, Gathering for Gardeners, and I know that you have the bed there at Cary Park. Isn't there another bed like on the campus of Hutchinson Community College? Is that yours or is that somebody else's?
No, that's the Reno County Master Gardeners demonstration bed, and they've done a wonderful job there.
I get a little confused with garden bed here and garden bed there. I just want to make sure that I get the right bed for you.
When we first started the bed down by Cary Park, the city was not planting flowers like they do now. So we feel like our city's come a long way in beautifying for our visitors and residents.
See what you did?
Did I?
Yeah, you guys did that. I mean, you started planting flowers, so the city thought we were not going to be shown up by a bunch of club members.
No, there's been studies done that if you have flowers in the area, people will linger longer and shop more. So it's a good thing.
So other than just the monthly meetings and you get together, are there other learning experiences during the year that people can attend?
Not.
Well, that varies. We have done some extra type of things like field trips, but not on a yearly basis.
Nothing scheduled at this point.
All right, so let's dive right into Gathering for Gardeners. This is your annual, and I think it was explained to me as much as your annual service project.
Educational project is what we call it. And we have a committee that gets together and determines what topics we want to try to cover each year. We try to vary it from year to year so people don't come back and hear the same thing. They can learn something new and different. Then it's basically my job to find the appropriate speaker for the topics that they want to hear. So I rely a lot on K-State experts, specialists to come give us information, and that's what this type of program would typically cost you $40 to $60 to attend, and we do it for free because we want to help our community members.
It's one of those things where I visited with a person the other day that say, hey, that's what we're looking for. When is that happening? And so I got them pointed in the right direction because we were talking about flowers and flower beds and when to put things in, and then they brought up the Horticulture Club and they brought up the Gathering for Gardeners, and I said, well, that's right around the corner. It's next Saturday.
It is March 14th this year. It's the second Saturday in March.
All right. Things get started at 7 a.m. or things get started at
Doors open at 8:30.
Okay,
don't get them there at 7.
So once people get there, you ask people to register when they walk in. And it's not so much that you're going to bombard them with emails or things like that. It's basically you want to know where people are from.
I do. I just ask for their name and their city. I don't want their phone number, their email address. Last year, I counted up, we had 32 cities represented, and we had approximately 200 attend. I find that some people are even bashful about just putting down their name and their city, but they really should. I only ask them to do it once during the day. It's a come and go event, so if there's only one or two topics they're most interested in, they can drift in and out. But I want them to register just once, and Stutzman's and Bornholtz furnish gift certificates, and the Master Gardeners, I think, will provide some garden tour tickets as door prizes, so they can even walk away with a prize.
You talk about people giving you their name and their city. What's the farthest away that you've had somebody come from?
Kansas City. And I don't know, maybe they were just in town visiting. Actually, we did have one out of state years back, but it's always interesting to go down the list, and it's amazing to me how they find out about it. But I send notices out to lots of different people.
All right, we are talking with Betty Taylor and James Taylor this morning. They are with the Hutchinson Horticulture Club. We're getting ready to talk about Gathering for Gardeners, which is this weekend. We'll be back with more with them right after this. And we're back on the BW Morning Show with Betty Taylor and James Taylor this morning. They were the Hutchinson Horticulture Club. And the Gathering for Gardeners is this weekend. Its doors open at 8:30 on Saturday. Where's this located?
We hold this at Our Redeemer Lutheran Church, just west of the Cosmosphere. They have nice parking, and of course there's overflow parkings that people can use, so it's a convenient location, and a big screen up on the wall, and we bring in a sound system so that people can hear, and it's just works out really well. I forget how many years we've been doing this there, but they're very, very gracious hosts.
So I noticed it seems like you have a plethora of presenters from K-State Research and Extension, and that's a great resource for not only you guys to find presenters, but for the general public to reach out and say, hey, we have an issue.
And to get their tried and true information, so we know more what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I saw a article on one of our sister stations' websites, and it talked about why do you need K-State Research and Extension when you can Google it? And basically the synopsis of the article was like you said, tried and true.
Tried and true, and in this area.
Yep. That's
the big key. Information from the East or West Coast doesn't necessarily apply to us.
So we get things started off at 8:30, doors open at 8:30. First presentation on Saturday is Climate Resilient Gardens, and that's being presented by a local extension agent.
Yes, Pam Paulson is our local horticulture agent, and she'll cover things that you can maybe have a better garden, because our temperatures have been so up and down lately, and our moisture levels, so there's all sorts of things that a gardener can consider in planning their garden, and that's why I want people to come, so they might plan a little differently, and also the plant selection. So she'll cover a whole range of topics there that will help us.
It amazes me that people, they'll go out and they'll get a plant and they'll plant the plant, and the plant doesn't do anything, and then when you look at it, it's probably not a plant that's good to grow in this area. And I suppose that Pam will touch base on that.
I think she will cover some plants that would work better than others. But gardening is nothing more than one big experiment. And I tell people the only difference between green thumb people and brown thumb people is that green thumb people watch what they're doing, keep records, and if it doesn't work, they try to figure out what to do differently. Brown thumb people may try the same thing and have the same bad results and say, I have a brown thumb. So just keep trying. Try something different.
And so we go from climate gardening to growing flowers for your kitchen table.
Yes. I've often heard of people having cut flower gardens, and I thought this would be a great time for them to learn how could do it successfully. And she's going to cover even seed starting and plant selection and just a whole host of things that one needs to think about when they're doing a cut flower garden.
So tell me, what is a cut flower garden, or
If
what
you
are
want-
cut flowers?
Okay, zinnias come to mind because they're lovely cut flowers. Dahlias are another one. I have no idea what her list is going to look like. I'm hoping she has a handout. But James, what
Well,
flowers would you recommend?
Oh, zinnias are probably one of the first. Dahlias are wonderful, but I always have trouble with bugs on them. But these are flowers for flower arranging.
You're talking like long stem flowers.
Well,
Not-
it depends on the vase you're using.
Yeah, it can be a short vase, and you can have shorter stems. but
We used to make arrangements with pansies, and I took a really short vase.
And so here's another one that gets me, and this is the next topic, because my mom has been fighting these critters for the last 2 or 3 years. But it seems like all of a sudden there is an abundance of armadillos here. And that's the next topic,
yes.
is moles and armadillos.
Dr. Drew Ricketts is coming from Manhattan to talk about how to determine whether you have a problem, be it a mole or a gopher or armadillos, and the methods you may use to resolve it. And armadillos have moved up in this area because I've seen dead ones on 30th Street, which really worry me because an armadillo can destroy a garden rather quickly, as I understand it.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way: that she doesn't like what they have done to her front yard, and
No.
it cost her every time they have somebody come out. It cost her to have those relocated.
Well, either have her come or take notes for her, okay?
All right, we are talking with Betty Taylor and James Taylor. They were the Hutchinson Horticulture Club. We'll have more from them in the 7:45 slot, but thank you for helping us out this morning. We'll be back with BW News right after this.
Thank you.
Back to the morning show, have some guests, and here's Mark Jacobs.
And we're back. We were with Betty Taylor and James Taylor this morning. They were the Hutchinson Horticulture Club. The gathering for gardeners is this weekend. Let's remind everybody when it is, what time it opens, and where it's at.
Okay, it is this Saturday, the 14th. We open the doors at 8:30. The first program's at 9 o'clock. It is held at Our Redeemer Lutheran Church, just west of the Cosmosphere. And we have programs every hour on the hour until noon, and then we break for lunch and start again at 1.
All right, speaking about starting about at 1, we talked a little bit about the underground pest and the ground pest before we, at the end of the last segment. Now we're going to talk about them biting pests, those seasonal annoyances, as my mother calls them, ticks, chiggers, and mosquitoes.
Yes, Dr. Raymond Cloyd is the entomologist specialist at K-State Research and Extension out of Manhattan. He's coming down, and he's come previous years, not recently, but many times we've asked him to tell us, how to combat bugs in our garden, insects in our garden. But this year he suggested that he talk about how to avoid bites from ticks, chiggers, and mosquitoes. So he'll talk a little bit about the basic biology and how, why they do what they do and how we can prevent that and be a little more comfortable outside.
Yeah, that's one of those, because there's times in the spring where it would be great to just be able to sit out on the back patio, but mosquitoes and chiggers and ticks, but basically it's the mosquitoes. And it's not just that it's an annoyance. In some cases, it's actually a health problem.
Yes, I've known people that if they get a mosquito bite, they welt up really bad.
And you talk about some of the diseases that are carried by ticks. You have the deer ticks that have that causes an allergic reaction to people who
the Lyme disease.
And then you have the Lyme disease. So it's one of those where it's great to be outdoors, but you want to be careful.
Yes, and he will clue us in on everything we need to know there.
So we talked about a little bit about cut flowers in the last segment, and now the next presentation at 2 o'clock is plants for creative, colorful containers. So this is container gardening to me.
Yes, that is. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people anymore, you don't see that many flower beds. What you see is a lot of people with pots. And I think the greenhouses are kind of gearing for that kind of audience. So there's a wide variety of plants available now that really do well in pots, but may not do real well in the ground. And knowing which plants to put into those pots so that it gives you the kind of effect that you want, that's what the program's all about.
And this topic reminds me of Dr. Alan Stevens, who recently passed away. But he'd come to the gathering and tell us all about beautiful flowers that you can use in containers and in your garden. But he said containers are kind of like sofa pillows because they add color in all those spots that you want to add a little bit of pizzazz.
Yeah, I've seen some beautiful container gardens over in Wichita. We had gone to the one of the nurseries, and they had these big, beautiful displays of, bright, vivid colored pots with patterns, like Native American patterns and things like that. And then my mother, last year, she decided she wanted to give up trying to plant in the ground, and so she bought these two really big pots from out at Stutzman's, and guess who had to unload them when she got them there? But she managed to get the one. She actually took a sample of her siding out, so her pots out on the front yard match the color of the house.
All right.
And so she plants her big, bright red geraniums in those instead of trying to put them in the ground, because I think most people are like me. You only want to do it once. So now everything that she has in the ground is perennial. Mm-hmm. And so she has those places where she wants a pop of color, and that's her annual beds.
And many people do that. I always suggest that they leave a little pocket for annuals, because your annuals will bloom most of the season. You do have to replant them every year, but the perennials don't last for weeks and weeks and weeks in bloom.
All right, the last topic of the day on Saturday is small trees and shrubs, and we're talking about pollinators, and we're talking about like butterflies and bees. And I know that's an important thing, because without the bees, you don't pollinate the plants. So that's an important topic.
Well, and there again, people can use shrubs in a variety of ways. Some people want a shrub bed because they don't want to mow as much grass. So this is going to tell them what shrubs they might want to consider to benefit the bees and the butterflies and even birds, or small trees. And so Dr. Jason Griffin will come from the John Pear Horticultural Center in Hayesville and fill us in on ideas there that we might use.
So and it's an interesting place down there. I have been down there once. Okay. So he has the topic. I think probably one of the most important topics, because you're right. There's a lot of people who don't want to plant the beds. They want the shrubs, but they also want those places where that will attract, the hummingbirds, the butterflies, the songbirds, and that adds another pop of color to your garden. And
it makes your house look more natural rather than just sitting out there bare all by itself.
All right, we are talking with Betty Taylor and James Taylor this morning. We are talking about the garden gathering for gardeners that is happening this Saturday. We'll be back with more from them right after this. And we're back on the BW Morning Show. We're with Betty Taylor and James Taylor. They are with the Hutchinson Horticulture Club, and we're talking about a gathering for gardeners that's happening this weekend, or this Saturday, at Our Redeemer Lutheran Church there on 12th Street, just on the west side of Plum, across from the Cosmosphere. And we were talking a little bit during the break about a couple of things. One, your schedule, and two, about lunch.
The schedule, it's designed so that you can come and go to whatever session you want to hear about. If a speaker finishes early, we don't start the next one early. We wait until the hour that's appropriate. So we're expecting people, maybe they don't want to come sit all day. Some do, and I'm amazed at how many actually do come back and do the entire day with us, but don't have to. And lunch, we don't feed you lunch, but I will have some visitor guides so that the out-of-towners can figure out where they might want to go for a quick bite to eat.
So we look at, you have been doing this since
1990.
So you've been doing this for a little over...
It makes me feel old.
37 years?
Yeah, 30. Well, it would be 37, but we missed 2 years for COVID. A couple years. So it's only 35.
So this is the 35th gathering for gardeners. And Are there topics that you have gone that you have done in the past that you revisit from time to time, or you look back and say this was a good topic? What are those topics, and how would you?
Well, probably the one that is always a popular one, and we do it on a regular basis, is tomatoes. What varieties to grow, how to grow them, difference between determinate and indeterminate.
New varieties.
New varieties. And another one that has always brought in a lot of people is controlling moles and gophers and that type of thing. And we're doing that again this year.
I think you touched on it there, tomatoes, and that is a very wide expanse of a topic, and it's one of those topics where everybody says, "Oh, well, all I have to do is buy a tomato and stick it in the ground." That doesn't quite work that way, and so I've had a lot of success, but I've also had a lot of failures with tomato plants, as my wife can attest.
Well, it all depends on your experiment, so keep trying. Don't give up. And we did tomatoes last year, so we can't do it this year.
I do notice that you have the calendar out for this year's schedule for the Hutchinson Horticulture Club. How, if somebody wants to join the Horticulture Club, who do they get in touch with?
They need to come to one of our meetings, and they can pay their dues then. Dues are only $10 a year. But we don't take dues at the gathering because we found that some people don't realize it's on Tuesday night and they're not free Tuesday night. So we want them to come join us for a meeting and make sure they want to join us before they pay their dues.
So this is, but then you guys meet the second Tuesday of the month, and it's
Yes.
at various locations.
Third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday. So you meet at various locations.
Yes, but during the winter time, we usually use the cabin out at Dillon Nature Center. And we do have a website, I should mention, Hutchinson Horticulture Club. Not a website, but a Facebook page, Hutchinson Horticulture Club. And I try to keep things posted there as far as our meetings. And the entire schedule for the gathering is on that site, so they can find it there.
I think an interesting topic, and we have talked about, pollination shrubs and things like that. Your next meeting, which is scheduled for March 17th out at the Dillon Nature Center, is actually a video on bumblebees.
Yes.
And how important bumblebees and honeybees are to the ecosystem.
We're members of the Xeris Society, and they have a plethora of videos on bumblebees, so we will be watching one of theirs to learn more about bumblebees.
All right, so once again, let's remind everybody about when and where and the gathering for gardeners is this weekend.
The Gathering for Gardeners is doors open at 8:30 at Our Redeemer Lutheran Church, just west of the Cosmosphere. The first program's at 9 o'clock, and the last program wraps up at 4.
And so that's just west of the Cosmosphere there on 12th Street.
Yes,
So,
407 East 12th.
and this is sponsored by the Hutchinson Horticulture Club. I appreciate your time this morning for coming in. It's been a pleasure once again to have you guys in, and I want to bring up one other topic. One quick event before we get out of here is April 25th is your big annual plant sale out at Dillon's Nature Center.
Yes, we do have a plant sale so that we can furnish all the advertising and everything else we need to do for this event. And we have it in their science lab room, and it starts at 8 o'clock and goes until 2 on that day.
All right. I appreciate you guys for coming in this morning. We've been talking with Betty Taylor and James Taylor with the Hutchinson Horticulture Club. If you don't have anything else to do or you're interested about your gardening, you can go out to the Gathering for Gardeners this Saturday morning. We'll be back with BW News, top of the hour, right after this.